told your friend you're not okay? And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Got a buildup of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay? Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what.
Jack! I didn't say her name! Dude! Okay, maybe I did, I forgot. Jack! Hey guys, so we literally went from Discord to here. Awesome, but hey, at least you guys know, because from what I understand, nobody's getting notifications at all. At all. So that sucks. YouTube, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but YouTube has been quite the whack job lately. I'm being banned constantly from commenting on anything. Like I can comment on my own thread, my own videos, but when it comes to someone else, like today I was watching Cactus Bill, I couldn't even leave a comment. They're protecting YouTube from me. What the hell have I ever done? I don't say or do anything in like rudely in comment sections. Absolutely not, because that's what gets you in crap, right? Well, I'm not the only one who's noticed this. There's another one, Goose, and she watches me as well as what was I gonna say? Cactus Bill, and she said the same thing. She keeps getting banned from commenting, and it's 24 hours. I don't get it. And then somebody told me, I don't know if it's true or not, but they're using bots for this. And that would make sense because every single one of my videos, it doesn't matter what topic, are being demonetized. I'm not allowed commenting. I'm getting banned for 24 hours constantly. Like I can't comment on anything until tomorrow. And then my notifications are going out. So they say like in our studio, it said that they're working on the issue of nobody getting notifications. Well, they definitely need to work on not using bots. This is insane. That's what I love to do. I watch videos and I always comment. And I mean, as a creator, I love people who can comment, but being like not allowed to almost every single day, that's not cool. I mean, it makes me want to leave YouTube. I won't leave YouTube, but you know what I'm saying? Like even as a sub, I don't like that at all. Yeah, it's not fair. Oh, you've never seen that? I didn't know of me and another one, Goose. She said the same thing. She's like, she goes, I don't know. She's like, maybe it is my mouth that I keep getting banned and I can't comment for. I said, Goose, I've seen what you say. You're not even horrible. Like you're not using swear words or anything. I've seen people say twat and bitch, and they're not being banned. I don't even say that. Yeah, that's why people are going elsewhere, absolutely, because of the fact of this. That's why, I made a channel on Rumble because I don't know if I do like YouTube, but it's too much. I mean, there's so many rules and regulations, it's ridiculous. It really, so from what I've heard, only creators are getting the commenting bans. It's not just us, it's also subscribers. It hasn't happened to you. It's happening to both, but from what Soup's saying, it's probably happening to a lot of creators. But as for they're protecting the community supposedly from us. And as for subscribers, I know of a couple of them actually. Goose is the only one I can remember, but there was a few of them in Cactus's chat, and they're like, "Yeah, like we're keep getting banned to protect the community." I don't get it. Get out of my head. It has ruined it, the TOS, absolutely. It actually has. I think so too. I don't know. Rumble seems to be more lenient. Oh, and then I came across this video that was in um my YouTube studio stating that how they're going to be more lenient on the rules of um actually I'm going to say it just to see if they're lying or not. So they're going to try and be more lenient on abuse. CSA and RAPE. I'm just going to use the word abuse just to see. They said they're going to be more lenient on that. And there was a couple other things too. Swearing and something else. I'm like, okay, then we can get more commercial or more monetization or more commercials on our stuff. But I always get limited. I have to go and fight with them every single video I make. It's ridiculous. Yeah, protect the community from what? Me? What am I gonna do? I seriously don't say anything wrong, I swear. All right, I'm gonna start reading. Yeah, I'm watching you. You're lucky in life. That's all I gotta say, you little brat. They're trying to get in good with the drama and true crime communities from what I've been or from what I've seen. Yes. I know, I don't know how I'm a threat. It makes me laugh, but it's so annoying. You go to say something like, "Here, I'm gonna see. I wonder if my band's up." Yeah, sure, comments. It's so stupid. I'll show you what it says. It's ridiculous. All right, where are you? YouTube. I don't know. Go to cactuses. They've almost shut both of them down with the. They have. It's ridiculous. Oops, I don't want me. All right, where are you, Cactus Bill? I'm just gonna prove a point. Not that you guys don't believe me, but I want to read it to you. It's so stupid. All right, where was I? I was at. All right, that's the one I was watching, and I wanted to say something, and I can't remember. I don't know. What could I say? I had so many things to say at the point in time. Hey, Brenda. Hey, da hi guy. I was getting anal probed, and it went so well. I went for seconds. Hey, call me greedy. Oh my God. Well, hey, da hi guy. You probably can help me with this. I was telling everybody how I keep getting banned from commenting on other creators' videos because apparently I'm a threat to YouTube, and I get a 24-hour ban. Has this happened to anyone you know? I think that they're using robots a lot of the time, and I mean I can say poo and I get in trouble. So I'm gonna try and say like the lamest thing, I guess. I don't even know what. So you can tell. I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say you can tell she's smashed. Look at this shit. Can you guys read it? Community paused. Community paused to protect the community. Did you read that top part? Did you read that shit? Protect it from what? I said, holy hell. No, I said, holy heck, she looks smashed. That's all I said. And they said commenting paused to protect the community. It says, we've discovered that comments you've left may violate community guidelines, harassment and cyberbullying. Sees. What the fuck? You'll be able to post comments again in 5 hours. Oh, my 24 hours is almost up. Do you have feedback? Let us know. Nah, I'm good. Sorry. It's so hard to. There. I just want you to read that first part. Can you see that? So stupid. And then it makes you press a button that says got it. All right, I got it. So I have 5 hours and then I can post again. So stupid. Do you make an appointment? I have to use British slang at times so I can comment. I don't get it. I just said, "Holy heck, she looks smashed." That's it. I'll say, "Great video, that's amazing." And it's like, we the comments are bots, we're protecting the community. What? Are you serious? Yeah, it's bullshit. I really don't understand it. I don't think I ever will. It's stupid. All right, so I'm very, very, very in the beginning of this book. So it's called When They Appeared, and it is about the Falcon Lake incident in 1967, the inside story of a close encounter. And that man you see on screen is Stephen McKellick, and those circles you see on his chest is radiation burns from the UFO. He ended up getting poisoning, radiation poisoning. He got really sick, like really, really, really sick. But I don't know all what happened to him. Um, like while he had the poisoning and all the after effects, I forget. So I'm glad I'm reading it again. The search and the find. So on June 4th, Dr. Roy Craig of the University of Colorado and John Fried of Life magazine called upon me. Together with Mr. Thompson, we went to Falcon Lake to try and find the site where the craft had landed. Nature changes quickly at that time of year, and the forest was very much different now than it had been when I was there before. We searched and searched in vain. I was sorry that it's full, but there was nothing we could have done about it. The same thing happened later when the members of the RCAF under Squadron Leader P. Biskey and the RCMP went with me to search for the spot. We even used a helicopter, but it was to no use. It seemed as if the place had disappeared from the face of the earth. The men who came with me were disenchanted. I made up my mind that sooner or later I'll find the spot and solve this mystery once and for all. As my health improved, other reports of sightings turned up. A 13-year-old girl from Winnipeg, Darlene Bagley, reported seeing a similar thing. She made a sketch of it. Her sketch was not unlike the one I had made. Then I heard about two boys seeing something near Falcon Lake about noon on May 20th, the day of my experience with the object. I found that within 4 weeks, before and after me seeing the object, that there were at least 20 reported sightings in the area. Slowly, I tried to forget the events that had taken place. I returned to work and tried to get things back to normal. Then on Sunday, June 10th, 3 weeks after the day in Falcon Lake, I felt an itching in my chest. When I looked, I noticed a number of blisters high up on my chest near the throat and a V-shaped rash that ran from the middle of my chest up to my ears. I went to Dr. Shaw immediately. He examined me, took pictures, and gave me some medication. It had no effect on the rash, and after a few days, he sent me to Dr. Berger. I saw him for 4 weeks. During this time, he gave me several treatments, and the trouble disappeared. Yeah, so you do know this one, eh? Well, I'm happy to read it because it's Canadian, and I don't know, I find that it's almost like the US, like I don't know, it's always about the US, always. Not that like I'm complaining or anything. I just mean you don't hear much Canadian things at all. I wonder if it's because we're being like hidden or something, or I don't know. It's just weird. Like everybody always knows what's going on with the States. When it comes to Canada, you have to really poke and pry to find things out. It's just strange. On June 23rd, I contacted Mr. G.A. Hart, an electronic engineer in Winnipeg. He had offered me help earlier. I knew that he went to Falcon Lake area quite frequently, so I asked him if I may accompany him some time and perhaps search for the landing site. He not only took me there, but helped me in the search. I looked throughout the woods, checking rocks I had seen before, examining chips I had made in the stone, and finally, after 6 hours, we came upon the spot. Yeah, she did go. Hey, cool gamer. Do you want to come up, Batistic? I know you said you were busy, so I don't want to push you. So I made inso sorry, after 6 hours, we came upon the spot. Our greatest surprise was to see very plainly the outline of the ship on the ground where it had landed 6 weeks earlier. Sorry, I have a bit of a cold. We found the remains of my shirt at the scene along with the tape measure I lost that day. We placed the articles in plastic bags, gathered some samples of rock and earth from the area, and took some pictures of the spot. Okay, no worries. I just want to make sure. When I feel like I was not including him. We also discovered the branches of trees in the area where the craft came down and withered away and died, while all around the trees were flourishing normally. After looking around briefly, we returned to Falcon Lake, making our way clearly so we could find the spot again. Back in Winnipeg, I told Mr. Thompson and SQDLD Bisky that Lieutenant Bisky that we had found the spot. On July 2nd, Corporal Davis and Constable J. Zacharias of the RCMP in Winnipeg came and took me to Falcon Lake. There we met Mr. Hunt, Mr. D. Thompson, and Lieutenant Bisky together. We went to the spot, took more pictures and samples, and made more tests. They said there was some radiation, but not enough to be dangerous. Mr. Stuart Hunt of the National Department of Health and Welfare and Mr. D. Thompson of the Provincial Health Department came to me later, but the members of the RCMP and the RCAF gave me a report on the samples. Mr. Hunt told me the earth analysis showed radiation. He took Geiger counter readings in my house, but apart from the earth I had sent in, no further radiation was discovered. They promised to return for more tests. Later in the week, I went to see Dr. Berger because the rash had returned to my face. He again treated it. At last, the investigation was over. All there is to do is to wait for the final results, but I feel that they will never be made public. Music still blasting. I love that. That was really cool. I remember reading this one. I think when I was first getting into this in 5th grade, and as I got older, got deeper into this one from Pix Beautiful. Yeah, she was there a couple times. She's the one who got me into reading this. Like I knew about it, but I forgot. So I'm glad that Autistic had told me, like, yeah, we should do this. I love stuff like this. It's my favorite. Samples of earth and rock were also sent to Colorado University and to APRO. Accounts of the events mentioned appeared in magazines throughout the US and Canada. So far, there's no official word. Perhaps our scientists are ashamed to admit that somewhere there is an intelligence and technology greater than ours. As for the government, it is possible that they are afraid that they will cause national panic if they reveal all they know. But it seems to me that they should say something definite. The public had a right to know whether this thing came from our planet or from another world, whether it was friendly or harmful. People should be told what it was all about. I really agree with him on that. That's never going to happen. Epilogue or interlude. On September 21st, just 5 months after my encounter with the craft at Falcon Lake, another strange thing happened. I was on the roof of the Inland Cement Co. Where I work. It started as a burning sensation around my neck and chest. At first, it felt like a bee sting, but the pain was more intense and covered too great an area. The injured co Oh my god, that isn't that, is that in this book? Because 'Cause isn't that involved in the Mothman story, Injured Cold? Yeah, it is. I know it is. I know that name. Injured Cold, yeah. That's what the Mothman was calling himself, right? I remember watching that movie with Richard Gere. It was actually quite freaking creepy. Yeah, you got pics. I really wanna see them. Hopefully you can share with us. That would be amazing. I went down to the first aid room to have the affliction examined. The pain grew worse and my throat began to feel like it was burning. It was a good movie. My body began to swell, tearing off my shirt. I noticed large red spots in the same place where the burns from the ship had been before. The superintendent came in. After seeing what had happened, he took me to a doctor immediately. In the next 15 minutes, my body had turned violet. The swelling progressed so quickly that I could not take off my shirt again. My companion could not look at me. He kept turning away. My face must have looked horrible. This is insane. This guy keeps getting tortured. My hands looked as if they had been inflated with air like a balloon, and I could feel my strength weakening. My vision was failing, and I could make only dim outlines of things. The room was spinning around, and I felt myself fading out into unconsciousness. I felt somebody lifting me onto a bed, but I was not aware of what was happening. Later, I was taken to Misericordia Hospital. I think that's how you say it, for observation. By 9 p.m. the evening, the symptoms began to disappear. My strength was returning and I began to feel better. I was released from the hospital at noon the following day, and all the swelling and marks had disappeared. That is so weird. Doctors at the hospital said the swelling was the result of some allergy, but it seemed rather strange that the spots appeared in the same places where the UFO had left its marks. I agree. Like, that is, to keep reappearing and being in pain like that. There's the indigenous circle and nuclear power yes, I remember you saying that, and then I figured, yeah, that's what I wanna get into is this part. The nuclear plant was opened a few years before the incident. Yeah, I wanna get into that. Well, we will get into that. On September 30th, I returned to the place where the craft had landed to see if there were any other changes. I could not believe what I saw. The leaves in the area looked as if they had been sprayed with some killing chemical. All were withered and dead. No vegetation grew within a 50-feet radius of the landing site. The area where the craft had touched down was still visible. I took more pictures. Also a Geiger counter reading. It indicated a radiation count of 400 millibrointigen. I decided to return to the spot next May, 1 year after the sighting, to see if any changes have occurred and to see if the site is still discernible. With regard to my health, I've been able to gather certain theories from various doctors and scientists who have the nature and source of the disturbances, their effects, and any possible future results owing to the experience. One official said that my shirt and body was burned by ultrasonic waves, while another feels that it was a thermal reaction caused by a blast of hot air under pressure. Radiologists have said that radiation found at the scene was a product of nuclear fission, like that emitted from an atomic reactor. There you go, statistic. That's crazy. Another doctor said there were indications of the presence of gamma rays, which might have caused the burns and the immediate deterioration of food in my stomach, which would have caused the awful stench I had experienced. Yet another interesting observation showed that the amount of blood lymphocytes in the bloodstream dropped from the normal 25% to 16% and finally returned to the normal some 4 weeks after the sighting. A federal report said that the contact with the radiation may have caused or may yet cause blood cancer, leukemia. Wow. Now that all seems to have ended as far as the events and after effects are concerned. I would like to say that the burns and suffering I had endured were not caused by any aggressive moves of the craft of its occupants, as far as I can see. The contact I had with the ship was of my own choosing, and I was burned by the exhaust of the craft as it took off. Probably if I stayed further away from the craft, I would not have been burned or suffered in any other way. Yes, he did, Kimberly. He did write this book. This is like what I'm reading right now is him writing it himself. And then the rest of this book is him and the author Chris Rakowski. As a result, I offer this warning to all who may also encounter such a craft. Keep away from it far enough to protect yourself and take all precautions against similar reactions. The end. All right. We're on part 3. It's called When They Appeared by Stan McCulloch. Chapter 1, The Basement. On May 20th, 1967, the day it all started, I moved from my parents' bedroom into the basement. It was not anticipation. At the ripe age of 9, I hadn't given a change of scene much thought, and the basement was not finished, although we had talked about it since moving to Winnipeg just 2 years before. The transplant also took place very late in the evening on a Saturday and did not follow any particular plan, which was very unusual considering my mother always had a plan, or if not, she made it appear that every little thing we did received her full consideration. This time she did not appear to be her usual assured self. Hey, Nun Nun. Nun Nun, you need to get a Discord. Can someone put my Discord link in? I made one. Because we were talking about last night about being empaths and stuff, so I made one. I want you to join it. Um, and what did I even name it? Oh yeah, empaths all around the world. I don't know. I thought it would be cool. So all of us in the stream right now are in it. So you'll know the people. Actually, it's on my community tab if you want to make one and go in there. My father was sick, or at least this is what I was told. Something had happened to him while he was away prospecting at Falcon Lake. The full extent of his injuries and the circumstances that brought him to this point were withheld from me from now. I figured that my parents. Wait a minute. Okay, so the person, okay, this confused me. The person who is writing this now is actually this man's son, Stan. Okay, that's why I was like, what? So he's saying it in his own, he's saying this in his terms. So he's saying my father was sick, or at least this is what I was told. Something had happened to him while he was away prospecting at Falcon Lake. The full extent of his injuries, for the circumstances that brought him to this point, were withheld from me for now. I figured that my parents' bedroom would become a sick room where mom would nurse my dad back to health, and that there simply would be no room for me, though I feared that it wasn't just a matter of room. Whatever illness my father had contracted had to be serious enough to warrant this sudden eviction, and it did not feel temporary. My older brother Mark was to pick up my father at the bus station. Dad had called in the afternoon, and even as she bustled about the kitchen preparing dinner, my mother was visibly tense. Oh my gosh. Oh shit, really? I'm gonna leave that up to you. I can't see it at all. I mean, I can't see a man joining an empath group. Oh, I put the link on my community tab for people to join. Oh, there it is right there. Shithead. Yeah, right now it's a small group. It's just us that's here, except for that high guy. He's got to join still. So that would be the only guy actually, probably, unless Trio joins. But if you don't want to, I don't blame you. You can just stay here with us. I absolutely understand. That's fucked up that he found you through that though. Yeah, you think about it, of course. No pressure, no rush. Absolutely. I just thought that it would be really good for you because, well, the stuff that we've talked about and stuff on here, I just figured it'd be really good for you, and I think you'd fit in really good, actually. I feel like you need it, if that makes sense. We're all over fucking laughing. Men are just as much empaths as women are. Yeah, but not a lot. I find a lot of them are just dicks. I like Trio, and I like that high guy though. Those two are not dicks. But I mean, a man that's an empath, very. I've never heard of one ever in my life. Never met one. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being small-minded, but I don't really think. Shut up, super. You're making me feel bad. Now I feel like apologizing. See what happens when you're an empath? Oh my god. Now I feel I'm sorry that I'm such a dickhead. Oops. I'm moving along now. Thanks, I probably do. Just would be my luck to get found. I don't think you would, and there's a lot of bitches in there that would kick his ass. Right, Teresa? Super. Kimberly, all of us. Yeah, it's a way for everyone to chat when I'm not live. Yes, we do need to talk about the podcast because we're me and Deb are gonna do a podcast together twice a week. One on my channel, one on hers a week. I think that would be awesome. But like true crime, supernatural, but we'll be doing it together. I think we work well together. Yeah, please try it. I honestly don't. I have a good feeling about it. I can't see anything going wrong. I don't know. I feel like it would help you or something. Strangely deranged. Yeah, can you guys imagine? Yeah, we got your back, Nan. Exactly what Kimberly said. We moved to Winnipeg from Regina in the summer of 1965. Dad found an excellent job at the Inland Cement Company as an industrial mechanic. In time, his employer would assist him in obtaining his millwright's ticket. which would open doors for him in the years to come and ensure that our little family never wanted for much. Despite the comfort of knowing that dad had a good job, we weren't what anyone would call well off. I had a very sharp sense of that when I was enrolled in grade 2 at Queenston School. River Heights at that time was a neighborhood of contrasts. As the son of a blue collar worker, I fit into the bottom socioeconomic half of the student population, but somehow managed to rub elbows with a few kids who came from the wealthier side of the tracks. I suppose that we, being kids, tended not to notice these things, although I clearly remember playing with some of my classmates in their spacious Wellington Crescent homes and marveling at their toy collections. Yeah, no problem, Brenda. I don't mind joining. Just into paranormal and jokes, so I'm all about it fun. Yeah, you are, and that's why actually I really think you should join that high guy. And he's knowledgeable, like he knows everything. It's crazy. Especially if you want to know anything about these like this recent aliens in Peru and stuff. Actually, that why don't you just do a live with me? That might as well, because you know more about this than I do, and I think that would be awesome. That's the thing. None. Yeah, Super Snoops. She ain't lying. To one way ticket to Guatemala. Yeah, he can use any name you want. You can use fuck shit if you really want. Whatever you want. My brother Mark and sister Eva were students at the University of Manitoba. He in engineering and she at the Faculty of Arts. Our family followed a certain pattern when it came to education. Elementary schools followed by private schools. For me, it was St. John for grades 3 to 8, with high school at St. Paul's. That I would attend a Jesuit run private school was never in doubt. I don't even know how to say that. I was a paradigm? I don't know. Established by my brother who graduated from Champion College. Nope, Campion College in Regina, and what was good enough for him. How I spent those evening hours on that Saturday in May until Dad and Mark came home remains a blank. I hadn't been told of my new sleeping arrangements yet, and knew only that Mark had gone to pick up our father. When they arrived, I was not there to greet him, and I have no recollection of Dad's condition at that moment, nor did I appreciate the gravity of the situation. I do recall staying in our backyard after dark, long after my normal curfew, and coming into the house to discover that events had preceded me, and that this day was going to change my family in a way I could never had imagined. Sweet. Well, I hope you enjoyed Nana. I think you will really, really, really like it. Yeah, Rambo. RDD2, the thing. That's hilarious. No, I Menses. I like Deb's Super Snoops. I like her names. That's freaking awesome. Can I join? Do a live? Sure, if you want. I follow stuff on my live. It's always in. Yeah, I want you on my live. We'll do it. I don't know if you're not busy. We can do it next week. You want to join? Fuck yeah. We should get you up here. I need the smart ass up here. And I mean that the most positive way. So Dell. Okay. Mark had already begun moving my bed and my belongings into the basement when I came in between stepping into and out of the master bedroom while issuing instructions to Mark. My mother seemed to be directing traffic and tending to my dad. This is how I learned of my change of scene. In snippets hastily delivered by my mom, while she instructed Mark, made tea, and hustled into and out of the bedroom, which, when I could catch a glimpse, was dimly lit. I was given the news in hushed tones that Dad was sick and was told to accompany Mark to the basement and set up my sleeping arrangements. It only took a few moments before I was in the basement with Mark, deciding where the bed would go and how we would accommodate things like a dresser and a lamp. At any other time, we would have been in this would have been an interesting adventure for a 9-year-old boy. It was past my bedtime, and it seemed to me that what was going on upstairs had granted me a sort of special dispensation. Yet the tension in the house was so palpable that when Mark went upstairs, all I was left with was fear. ASD. For me, basements had always been scary. In Regina, we lived in a cavernous 3-story house with renters living in a full suite on the second floor and a tenant in an attic suite on the third. Our front entrance opened to a large hallway with a staircase to the right and a door leading to the basement, under the stairs across from the main entry to our portion of the house, the main floor. In our part of the house, a cellar door off the kitchen gave us access to the basement. I backed way down, reached by a set of stairs that were so steep they forced me to practically climb them like a ladder. I took a nosedive down those stairs more than a few times as a toddler, each time giving myself wooden injuries. I don't want to laugh, but it's kind of funny. Who's that? Oh, it was you. Scare me, dog or cat. When I wasn't tumbling down the back stairs, the basement was where I could interact with their tenants who came down to do their laundry. It was also where my brother had his bedroom. I had visions of one day having this same kind of retreat, a boy cave where I could play with my friends and do things outside of my mother's supervision. But when the lights were off and there were no friendly faces, the basement was a spooky home for the kind of scary monsters that live in a child's imagination. As fate would have it, our new home in Winnipeg also came with a basement. Oh, I gotcha. This was in 2017? I'm sorry, girl. I mean, in 6 years, they better have their crap together. As I sat on my transplanted bed in the dim glow of a single lamp on a makeshift night table, I couldn't help but feel that while I was expected to be strong and responsible 9-year-old, while the rest of my family dealt with something truly disturbing that I didn't understand, I wasn't up to the task. There's only 300 messages in there. When mom finally came to tuck me in, she offered comforting words but gave me no further clues about what was happening. It took a long time for me to even consider falling asleep, although it had to be well past midnight. The glow from the main floor lit the stairway. Like so many other tiny post war bungalows in this neighborhood, the stairs to the basement began in the hallway between the front entrance, hall, and the kitchen. To reach the basement, you stepped down 4 stairs to the side door landing, turned right, and continued down 8 more stairs that took a further right turn at the bottom. I crept out of bed, guided by the light spilling down from the hall, made my way to the stairs, and climbed them silently to the landing, where I discovered that the hallway acted like a sound tunnel, bringing all conversation in the house right to this point. Despite trying to keep their discussion at a low volume, what mom was saying to my brother and sister in the dining room was clear as a bell. If I sat still, I had a front row seat on that landing, and I could scamper back down the stairs quietly if I heard anyone coming. As I sat there on the stairs in my pajamas, my fear of basements disappeared that night. In its place, a seed of profound bewilderment was planted, which grew each time I eavesdropped on conversations from my covert listening post. Mom's voice from the dining room carried with it the sounds of concern, but also resignation, as if I had come to terms with what was happening. It was the voice she used when she had no explanation for something, and that our only course was to accept whatever transpired because that's how it is. As my brother and sister were concerned, this was not an opening for a discussion, merely a statement of affairs as mom saw it. Being afraid of basements was nothing compared with what was to come. I have to agree with this poor little kid because basements are terrifying. Like, I used to live in Athens, Ontario, and it was a small town of 5,000 people, and we had a house that was almost 200 years old, and the basement looked like the Blair Witch Project's house. So I would never go down there. I was terrified. And of course, the daddy long legs and all this other stuff. Like it was hell no. You would think, you would definitely think, yay, welcome, Jill. I know, I think it'd be good for us. They're determined. If someone's obsessed with you, they won't stop. They won't. That's crazy though, 1994. Oh my God. Chapter 2, My Injured Father. When I woke that Sunday morning, the noises and smells from the kitchen suggested mom was making breakfast. She had tried to give dad some eggs and dry toast, but he couldn't keep them down. On my visit to the bathroom, I noticed the door to the bedroom was closed, but while brushing my teeth, I heard the door open and close and caught a few of the words that passed between mom and dad. There's something about pain medication, reference to a glass of tea, words about washing or bathing, and then my name's mentioned. At this, I froze, anxious to hear what was being said, but only hearing hushed murmurs. When the door opened and it closed again, I ventured out of the bathroom. Breakfast was going to be a favorite of mine. Loosely scrambled eggs with bits of ham and chopped green onion. Mark and Eva had already eaten and were going about their own affairs. As I ate at the dining room table, excuse me, Mom came in and sat down with a glass of tea in her hand and explained that Dad was very sick, that he had an accident while in the bush at Falcon Lake, that he had been burned, that he had visited the hospital yesterday evening, and that he just needed some rest. I was told that I could see him later in the day if Dad was up to it, and if the pills he was taking didn't make him too drowsy. Well, I had questions. It was obvious from her manner that this was all the explanation I was going to get for now, and it would have to be enough. Thanks. The eggs had any flavor. If the eggs had any flavor in them at all, I couldn't remember. I finished in silence while Mom went about cleaning out the breakfast. I tried to recall what I had overheard the night before, but nothing made any sense to me. When he came to Canada in 1949, Dad worked on a farm in southern Saskatchewan and grew to love Canadian wilderness. His native Poland, ravaged by war and then in the hands of the Soviet Redmen, was once a place where he enjoyed roaming the fields and forests. When war broke out, and the Polish military was defeated, Dad was forced to abandon his regular army career and join the ranks of the partisans. The next 8 years were endless danger and misery. It was a chapter of his life that could fill an entire book. After coming to the New World, he renounced the native land for which he had once fought, adopted the Canadian way of life, and began his lifelong love of nature and the outdoors. And there was so much of it here. His work on a farm near Lafleki? I have no idea. His work on a farm near whatever was part of the Canadian government sponsorship program in which he had enrolled on entering the country. He was a farmhand living with a French Canadian family on the prairie, putting in long hours with the crops, stock, and spending his free time in the woods and meadows of southern Saskatchewan. In time, he began taking courses in mechanics so that he could repair farm machinery when it was required. He also took an interest in the country's hidden resources after he was told the hills and streams of this country were brimming with precious metals and gems. The interest led to a series of courses on geology, a subject that quickly became a passion. I recall countless times when he would stoop down, pick up what I considered to be an ordinary rock, and tell me the secrets that it held. From last night's overheard conversation in the dining room, and from what I already knew, I confirmed that Dad had decided to spend most of the Tory Day long weekend in Falcon Lake, a lake resort community about 90 minutes east of Winnipeg on the fringes of the Canadian Shield. He had started this annual trek last year after we had visited that part of Manitoba on a few car trips to Falcon Lake and further east to Kenora. To my dad, the Canadian Shield represented a geological paradise. This is a land of granite and quartz, and he hoped nickel and gold. It was so different from the flatlands of South Saskatchewan that it drew him like a moth to a flame. After many visits, a collection of rocks began to grow in our basement, filling several wooden crates, each sample clearly labeled and all cross-referenced to a map of the area. Well, I didn't realize it at the time. He had even staked several claims in the woods, just north of the Trans-Canada Highway of Falcon Lake. If there was any precious metal in that part of the province, Dad was determined to find it. I promised the kids I'd cook dinner tonight. Food's my love language. I'm gonna chill here a few, then get up and start. Do you deliver? Yeah, do you deliver? We'll take some. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, ditto. I don't like they scare me, Kimberly. The dark scares me. I'm still afraid of the dark. I'm 39 years old and I'm scared of the dark. I am not ashamed to admit it. I live in a haunted house though. You gotta give me credit there. I remember holding large chunks of quartz. I think I just heard growling, and it was not my dog. I like that. I remember holding large chunks of quartz, some of them incredibly beautiful, while Dad described the formation of the crystals, the geological forces at work, and the byproducts of that creation. In tiny fissures here and there, I could sometimes glimpse a yellow streak of gold. Even when gold was not present, Dad would probably draw out another sample and show it to me like it was a precious gem. And many were, at least to me. A piece of beautiful rose quartz. I love rose quartz, it's my favorite. A beautiful piece of rose quartz that had been chipped away from its mother rock by my father after he had hiked for many hours to find it had to be precious. I found it compelling that Dad had gone to all this trouble to harvest this tiny piece of the Canadian Shield. It wasn't until much later in my life that I realized that my passion for so many things I eventually pursued was born while sitting at my dad's knee, looking at rocks and calculating how much effort had been required to produce this collection. I never got the impression that his love of geology was an obsession, despite the passion he showed for it. He went to work each day and spent time with his family. He was also an oil painter, something he had started in Poland and now pursued with renewed ambition. Canvases bloomed on our walls, both in our first home in Regina and now in Winnipeg. Hey, Brenda, welcome back. Oh my God. I think it's awesome. So buy me a coffee, you can buy me a beer. I think that's pretty cool. What is the other one? Pizza and a burger, I think. Of course, I chose beer. We spent a good deal of time in the outdoors as a family, picnicking, hiking, enjoying nature. I knew he spent time with his rocks, a term coined by my mother, but it never struck me that this was the time wasted, nor did it appear to be taking time away from anything else. His green haversack was always packed and ready. I know because I snooped on more than one occasion. In it, he kept his rock hammer, goggles to shield his eyes from chips, a pair of stout rubber gauntlets, a compass, several heavy canvas sacks to bring back samples, a notebook, a tape measure, and a few clothing items. When he planned an excursion, he would add food, water, a thermos of coffee, and he was off. Now the seemingly benign hobby had hurt him. Of all the pursuits in his life and all the dangers he had faced during the war, he was injured by a hobby. And not just a minor injury, something that had sent him into the emergency room, banished me to the basement, and something that had my mother concerned. In addition to being scared, I was now confused. Later that day, I heard mom and dad talking, and I realized the bedroom door was open. When she emerged, my mother told me that I could see him, but only briefly, as he was still drowsy, weak, and not eating solid food. The curtain was drawn back to let in some daylight, and the room was brighter than it had been yesterday. Dad was propped up on some pillows with a glass of tea in his hand. On the nightstand, a jar of cream, a bottle of pills, a box of tissues, and a plate with some cold rye toast competed for space. He was wearing striped blue pajamas, and his face was drawn and pale. When I walked into the bedroom, a wall of odor struck me so hard I stopped in my tracks. It was the stink of sulfur overlaid with ozone. The smell that comes out of a burning electric motor that has overheated. Together they formed a sickness of wrongness, so much that I froze in place. Dad opened his eyes, noticed me, and gestured I should come closer. He patted the bed, an invitation for me to sit. His voice was hoarse, and I spotted bandages on his upper chest. The smell seemed to be coming from him, from the very pores of his skin. Yes, Jill, I wouldn't want to be there during no. Yeah, they do smell musty and stuff. Ugh. He told me not to worry, assured me that he would be fine, and reminded me to listen to my mother and do what she said. He mentioned nothing about the smell, or the pain, or the burns, or the cause, nothing at all. It wasn't enough, not nearly enough. While all the questions I had began to jostle in line, eager to spell out, I stayed mute. He patted my hand, a gesture that this audience had come to an end, and I left the room in silence. Rather than offering a comforting hug, which I desperately needed, Mom told me to go downstairs and help my brother, who was improving my new bedroom with dividing the space in the basement to accommodate his study area. To fit our family into this tiny home, Mark slept on a hide-a-bed in the living room, which became the sofa during the day. His clothes occupied an armoire in the basement, and a desk and shelves had been set up there so that he could study. Eva had been given the main floor bedroom of the back of the house, an addition built by the previous owner that pushed the square footage of our little house from 700 to just over 800 square feet. And a necessity, Mark hung a set of blankets to partition the basement and give us privacy. For him, study space, and for me, a bedroom of sorts. Dad had made a little progress on the basement, putting up shelves and building a do-it-yourself closet to store things. But it was, for the most part, an unfinished basement with a concrete floor. Mark even installed a homemade blackboard on the wall above the desk so that he could work on the advanced math that was part of his engineering courses. I often fell asleep to the click clack sounds the chalk made on the board as Mark solved equations late into the night. In the days to come, Mark would not only prepare for and pass his exams, he would also become our family's Horatio, the point man, the filter, the security guard, our spokesperson, and at times a much bigger brother. At least that's how he appeared to me. Then, for many years later. For now, normalcy was being restored, and it was not going to last past that night. And there's a photo here. I'm going to put it in my community tab so you guys can see it. I don't know if you can see it right now, but it says, my brother Mark in his Air Cadet uniform and my father discussed the finer points of a scale model he has built in a photo from Regina dated 1963. It's black and white, so I don't know if you'll see it. It's hard to get this. Yeah. I'll put it in the community tab so you guys can see it. Chapter 3, the story hits the paper. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you like dark because less shadows. I just keep my, I don't know, I just don't look. I've learned that you never look. Like never. I've seen the Shadow Man. I'm still terrified of him. I've seen shadows. I've seen black masses. Um, I was showing the expert. I'm gonna stop today because I have to, I'm sorry, I do have to go to the store. I have an hour. Yeah, I have an hour. They close at 9. I have to go to the store because my boyfriend, my son failed to tell me until the last moment that his girlfriend's birthday's tomorrow. So I have to take him over and get her something. I guess she likes Hello Kitty, so I'm gonna look around. I made some chocolate. Girls like chocolate. But of course, he waited till the last minute. And then you know what he tried to do? He's like, oh, it's okay. I know. I'll just give her my the s'mores kit. I'm like, the hell you know? That's mine. Give away my s'mores kit. Are you kidding me? It's like, no. He's like, we don't have a fire pit. I said, I don't care. I'll put him in the damn oven. I want my s'mores kit. I'm not giving it to her. So I'm like, no. After my life, we'll go. My dad's getting a little shitty, anyways. It was funny though. I'm like, why would you wait that long? You tell me, like, are you kidding me? It's tomorrow. Oh no, what's wrong with them? What's wrong with Brenda? I missed it. Thank you for dealing with. Oh, hell no. I had that girl, and I'm telling you, the first time I ever had that, I don't wish that upon anybody. Yeah, you don't mess with especially Mama's s'mores. You little bastard. He opened it because we were gonna make them tonight. I'm like, well, wait till I'm done my live. So we open it. There's graham crackers, there's marshmallows, there's like 3 big chocolate bars. And we opened it because I want to do it tonight, right? And then all of a sudden he starts taping it up and he's like, I've got to give it to my girlfriend. The hell you will. Those are mine. I don't think so. I'm like, no, we'll go out. We'll go out and get something. Yeah, she's pretty sick too. I have a super bright illuminated clock, a mini touch light, and my phone open at night to keep away the shadows. I'll be happy to get away. Yeah, exactly. I've got a salt, what is it? A salt rock lamp. I have that in my bedroom and it's on all night. I've got a night light in the bathroom. I got a night light in my living room. I got a night light in my kitchen, and I got a night light in my back room. And Leland's got one in his room. He will never stay in the dark. I don't like it. Oh, you too, Jill. I noticed though since I've had it, like I'm always getting sick, but I've noticed since I have it, the long COVID, I just keep getting sick. I keep getting even worse. It's like every month there's something new. Like I just had a UTI. I just had strep throat. I've had COVID twice this summer. So in total 3 times. And now I've got another cold. Oh, it's ridiculous. I'm sick and tired of getting sick. Been off work for 3 weeks. So many people are having issues now. I know it's awful. It really is. I'm glad you didn't. It's such a terrible thing to have. Do you guys not find like the first time you get it though? I felt like I really thought I was gonna die. My whole body felt like I got this shit kicked out of me. It was horrible. I couldn't even go on YouTube for what, 2 to 3 weeks, I believe it was. I didn't even do one video at all. I was done. I'm like, nope, I'm not coming on. I couldn't. I was too sick. My son had to go live with his dad for the time being. Yeah, exactly, Teresa. Hey, Heavenly Cow. How is the grandbaby? I was in hospital for 6 weeks. Holy shit. Yeah, you had it way worse than I did. Oh my gosh. There was a friend of mine, he drove cab, he owned the cab company, and he was gone for about a month, and I didn't really know what happened. Um, so his son called me and said, "Yeah, he's got COVID. He's in the Kingston intensive care unit." I'm like, "Holy shit! Well, who's taking care of you guys?" So they were young, but what was it? They're 16 and a 12-year-old, so they were kind of on their own with their mom coming in and out to help them because they live with their dad. So I would keep in tabs with them, but when he came back, he never got his voice back. It was always hoarse and very low. And he was on he had the tubes down his throat and everything. Nope, I refuse to get the vaxes. Heck no. Yeah, I know there's a lot of issues with that. Let me guess, you all got the vaxes and boosters. The only people I know that got COVID got the vax. It is weird. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Or at least like bad COVID. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I smoke weed, so there's that. Yeah, I'm glad you guys did have it. He's over a week old. Ah, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you. I can't wait till I get grandkids. Later on in life, not now. You're only 12. Nothing. I thought you heard me, so I'm saying. All right, you want to go, kid? I'm gonna end this live and we'll go get your girlfriend her present. All right, good, because she's not having s'mores. No, Leland! No. No, we'll get something out the store. No. You will never get the last word. No.
We're going at night.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock. We'll be fine. Promise.
This is when we die.
We're not Okay, I gotta go. My kid's having a fit thinking we're gonna die because we're going out at night. Like,
Exactly.
we never go out
Nobody
at night.
goes shopping at.
Oh, it's so quiet and peaceful. We should just go. I won't get it either because I'm constantly sick even before it. I'm just like, no. This castle note was 12. Freaking hurt so young when a doll. You remember that high guy, right? When you were playing the video game with him and he just said, Castle. Holy crap. You love Hello Kitty? Well, apparently so does his girlfriend. So we're gonna go. He is trying to give away. He's not giving away my s'mores. I don't care what he says. And he ain't gonna die. Okay, bring your pocket knife. See, you have more. You have a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, that's why.
We're gonna die. We're gonna die. Okay, I gotta go because I'm just gonna keep bugging him. Oh my god. You guys have a great night. I'm gonna be back tomorrow. What is that? No, you can't bring that. No, cop pulls you over, they'll be like, well, we won't get pulled over, but can you imagine?
Pulled over for walking.
You're not bringing an X-Acto knife. What if it, no, Leland? Okay, I gotta go because he's gotta go.
Hey.
I will be on tomorrow. I'm doing a stream with OAH and about what happened to her illness. So we were going to do that I think it's tomorrow. And then Friday, me and Nan are going to do the Chaos book with Charles Manson and the CIA and the 60s. Tell him Auntie Karen says to buy him some. No, she didn't mean that. All right, you guys have a great night. Oh, that's funny. All right. That's it. There we go. Bye, guys.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your